Okay, to show you what I did to do the little tabs, all I did was I used a piece of tape that I got from the dollar store. I lined it up and I used that as my guide. It makes the pages closer together, or closer to matching with the width that you cut off. And I use this paper cutter because it just makes it way easier than trying to do it with scissors. So then I did the whole book that way. Now I need to work on the tab parts. So for the tabs, I'm going to do the same ideal, except I don't think I'll use the paper cutter because I think it's going to get too hard to try and do that. So all I'm going to do is just cut along this here. I'm actually going to try the paper cutter. See if this works. Okay, so I'm just going to line it up. And then what I'm going to do is start from the bottom, which I guess I should have. So I'm going to start from the bottom. I like these little paper cutters, especially if you're doing something like this. It can kind of help a lot. Okay. Maybe I should have used a different color tape because I can't see where the end is. Shrink it down. That's my plan. Okay. Let's try this for the third time. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to go all the way up, as close as I can get. And then I just have a little piece to cut, so let's try that. So then I have my handy dandy scissors, so I'm just going to cut my tab, and then cut up to my tab. Voila! Cool. Okay, that worked. Now I just need to do it for all the other ones.
For the yearly cover page, I researched vector art because I saw an example of it in another person's bullet journal, Jassy Corinne's. So I wanted to try and see what I could find. And that started me on a whole journey to create the whole journal with vector art. And then whenever I started doing the future log, I just wanted to keep it really simple. So I just did the sections, and later in the video, you'll see that I added some calendars, printable calendars, and I just glued them in. I did that because I didn't want to write out all the dates, but it kept it very simple. Tried to keep with the same highlighter color throughout, the blue and the purple, throughout the entire journal. And I really kind of just like the simplicity of it. With the future log as well, I was sitting there trying to use a ruler to keep my line straight. I think I did a pretty good job. But overall, I think trying to use the future log to keep track of my meetings and different things for the library will be really helpful. With the goals, word of the year page, and the quote page, all right there, when I did the other composition notebook, I used sticky notes for the goals, and I really liked the way that that came out. So I decided to use sticky notes for the goals in this page, also for the word of the year to kind of block it out. And so I think that it kind of helped a lot. And trying to use the gold along with the pen to highlight certain words or to do the titles of the page really kind of made it stand out really good. And with the year in pixels, this page ended up being an entire mess. You can see me using whiteout and the 23 and 23 page on the following page. I really struggled a lot with trying to, my pen exploded, ink was everywhere. It just became a big mess. And then with the yearly favorites, I did it like my other journal with books, movies, um, songs, and moments. And I think I need to change that because I decided to use this book for work only. So obviously, I'm not going to be watching movies at work. So I'm going to have to find something else about work that I enjoyed. So we'll figure that one out as we're going for different sections. And then I had a few extra pages in the beginning pages. I'm not quite sure what I'll use those for. And then I just continued the vector art for the January pages, cover page, and through all the different monthly pages. And I think it really brought it all together as a journal, just using the same type of artwork. And I think also that trying to lay it all out in pencil, it made it easier to see. And I just wanted to point out with the calendar, all of them are the same. Um, and I just did a one page layout because I didn't think I needed that much space. And I also think that um, it made it easier for me to create it. Overall, this journal took me about 6 hours to make, keeping it simple with the vector art. Okay, so I fit a full year into an 80-page composition notebook. And what I did was I wanted 13 sections, a beginning section, and then the 12 months. So I divided 80 by 13, and 13 times 6, I believe, is 78. So then I just used two pages for the back. But what I did was I counted them out, and then I made a little pocket, and I did the front pages. So then I just printed off some little calendars because I did not want to write those all in. And then the goals. So what I decided to do for this is because I don't like making things that I'm not going to use or they're just going to sit there. So I decided to use this for my library work, my main job. So I decided my goals would be library, we're reading and organizing the shelves, rearranging the furniture, and then I want to clean up my desk area, so like the physical space. Programming, which is Lego movies, Lakota Lego movies and puppet shows. I want to make at least 3 more of those. Build your own library, do at least one event about that. And then paint the culture and language at the center libraries. I already did the main library, so now I need to work on the center. And then I decided to use a word of the month. And my word of the month for my job is boundaries. A limit, so the definition is a limit of a subject or sphere of activity. And I wrote that I chose this word because I need to remember to have boundaries at work. Work needs to stay at work and don't bring it home. I also want to set clear boundaries of my duties and not volunteer for extra tasks. And I want to focus on what I can change and am control of and let everything else go. And then I did a quote page. Beneath all of those things you have experienced, there is yourself who loves and cares for the right reasons. I really needed to have this in the library page because language revitalization, or literacy, those things are important to me. And I have to remember that the things that I do are part of that. And then a year in pixels, I'm actually not quite sure what I'm telling you, this journal is somewhat of a hot mess. The ink went and leaked out of the whole thing. My hands were completely covered in ink. Um, so, I mean, it made a mess. I decided through the entire journal that I was going to do what's called vector art. And so that's where you're going to see everything on all the pages. And then 23 and 23, I put smudge and webinars. I don't know what other 23 things I want to do. I'm really going to have to think about that because I really want to focus on the library itself. So I need to think about 23 things. So if you guys have any suggestions about work-related 23 things, that would be awesome. I'm not sure if I want to do my emotions about work or productivity or work so many hours, and that actually might be better, like focused on this for so many hours, or not sure. Then I did yearly of music that I like listening to while I'm working, some top books, and then moments. Movies, I think I'm going to change this one though because I don't really do movies. And then programming, so different programs we do that are my favorites. And then I'm going to figure out what I'm going to put in the rest of my favorites. Not quite sure. So I did use a lot of whiteout, and I gave myself enough blank pages up here that I might not need them. I don't know what to put in those just yet. I'm debating. So January, so I don't work on the weekends, so I colored those in with just a colored pencil. And then I just wrote down stuff that events that are happening. And then this is the project. So cataloging, professional development. I take care of the website and the programming. So trying to think about the different areas that I take care of. I'll probably put build your library and I'm not sure what else, but so trying to come up with tasks that are for those. And then I did week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, broke it down into weekly tasks, keeping track of meetings and late starts and information literacy. And then these are my brainstorming pages. So I'm not quite sure. I have brainstorming in other notebooks about like the programming I want to look at. So I need to transfer it into here. Same with the staff meeting so that everything for the library will be in one place. And then action steps to take after this meeting because sometimes it's like, okay, you need to focus on this, this, and this. So, and then a monthly review. So every month is like this. So February, like I said, there's whiteout in different places, but I'm okay with that. This is just for, I'm going to leave this at work so that way I have it. And then I colored in the weekends again, my meetings. And then I changed the way I actually set up February, which I think I'm going to keep this method. The projects are going to stay the same, but I do information literacy. So instead of just searching through the whole thing for weeklies, I'm just going to write down information literacy in one section and then do my brainstorming pages because weeding and cataloging, all of that can just stay in the projects page because I don't need to write that out every week. I think that that's a little redundant. And then the same with the meetings and stuff. They're all right here on this calendar. So I'm going to do like an information literacy pages and then do pages for each section of this. So library space, professional development, programming. So then I can have ideals on the back pages. So that's why these are all blank for February. I need to transfer over my ideals again. Monthly review about how the library went. And so all the other months are set up the same way. So March, getting ready to jump into March. So I put in move the nonfiction show because that is what we're doing through part of the week. And then the rest are blank. But every page I wrote down the monthly review. So then April, and then I just cut out the tabs. So May, June. So what I did was I cut off this edge of the page on all of the pages, and you'll see that in the video, to make my tabs so that way I could just flip through each month. I really like the way the vector art looks. It's something simple that I can carry through the whole journal. These are all blank, so the months are the same all on one page, followed by the projects page. So as you can see, I've kind of got it ready. I stuck with the same colors as the tabs. But as you can tell, my highlighter started running out. October, November, December, and then I accidentally cut off the tab for the extras, so I just did a little pretty tab. It's just 2 pages back here. I did another pocket in the back. I think that it works really well, and it actually didn't cost me that much. So I used highlighters that I got from the dollar store, and I used the gold pen I got from the dollar store. This journal cost about 25 cents, 50 cents, I think, for the after school specials. So that's 50 cents, $1 for the gold, $1 for the pen, and a pack of these, I think, were like $3 of highlighters. So all in all, I think I spent roughly about $5, maybe 6, to create this journal. This is craft paper that you can buy at the dollar store, little strips of it. So see, maybe 6 or 7, under $10 definitely. But I think that if you don't need like a lot of space, you can also do like a running list of just going Monday and then write down what's going on and just keep going. You've got quite a few pages in each one, so each one has a lot of pages to fill. So overall, that is me fitting an entire year into a composition notebook, and I plan on using this, so at the end of the year I'll do a flip through of how I used it in the library. All right, well, we'll see you in the next video. Bye, Mapi.